Hi everyone, I'm Kimberly DiPersia, the artistic director of All the Line Studio and Incubator. We are about to have our first Next Step screenplay series for 2026, Silver Alert by Courtney and Duncan Bahr. And they are both here with me to talk about not just Silver Alert, about who they are and about Next Step. So thank you, Courtney and Duncan, for joining us. It's great to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah,
having
thanks.
us.
Of course. So yeah, if give us a little background about, what led you to writing, what's your history, where do you come from, your creative background and all of that.
Our moms. No. Well, Courtney and I have a long history together. We met, well, I was auditioning for an independent film, and we met doing that independent film in the yeah, year 2000, actually. And that film never saw the light of day. But we, the crew, of course, knew we were an item long before we did, which was interesting. And that's how we met. We were both actors in New York City. And when that film didn't see the light of day, we said, why don't we just do it ourselves? So we started doing our own films and fun projects around Midtown Manhattan, and we did a lot of fun um, bear projects. We
Okay.
we did a lot of comedies, okay?
Okay.
But
Okay.
push came to shove. We eventually moved down to Florida. If I'm skipping ahead, but just you can jump in anytime. But we've always we've always loved screenwriting. We've always loved filmmaking, and if you want to, do you want to talk about what gave us the idea
Well,
for
yeah, I mean, you skipped a whole bunch of stuff,
a lot of
but
stuff?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. If you want to fill in the gaps, Courtney, go for
well, I
it.
mean, he was talking about bear movies and he just kind of left it at that. But I
Yeah.
mean, okay, we're just gonna say this. We had the original idea for the Ted movies,
We did.
and
Wow.
we created a project with a teddy bear and we pitched it
A talking teddy bear.
to Comedy Central, and then they didn't follow up with it. But somebody else did. It was just kind of weird timing. I mean, we can't prove anything, but
Hmm.
a
Yeah,
lot of people,
it was called the Ted series.
yeah,
Yeah,
and we had the screening first, and a lot of people were there to witness it. But
they sure
anyway,
were.
so skipping ahead, yeah,
But
so
our Ted had a Bronx accent and wasn't humongous and wasn't CGI. He was
mm,
an actual teddy bear that I fashioned with chopsticks and wiring.
Wow.
And also we did oh yeah, it was totally organic. And I mean at the time, this is pre 9/11, Comedy Central was pretty open to weird and wacky projects, and we named each episode after a food, and always a type of food would be cooked
Mm.
during our film. And our first film was called Huevos Rancheros, and our
Oh.
second film was called Chicken Kiev,
Mm.
and which was
one was like a thriller noir.
film noir kind of
Cool.
third man kind of drama.
We'll show you those another time.
Love
I would
Triangle,
love
same
to
deal.
see these. This is so intriguing.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
Ted was red. Yeah, so
So yeah,
wow.
I think that was partly, um, we were just like trying to do what we've been doing, which is taking kind of control of our career a little bit more.
Hmm.
I think when we left New York, we had both kind of sort of had it a little bit. I had been in the union, SAG and equity and stuff, and I had just landed like a really good agent and stuff, but I was getting really tired of New York. And even though Duncan was born there and raised there and still loved it and
miss it every goddamn day.
driven him away. But it was kind of a good time to step away and sort of rethink what was going on. So writing has
It
been a
was good.
great outlet for that, for the creativity and just doing what we want to do. And Silver Alert is very much about that. And the people in Silver Alert are similar to some of the people in our lives, and I've had to deal with some family members getting older and some of the things that go along with that. And Duncan's grandfather was really kind of the stereotype for Bob, the lead character. He was like you know, who we fashioned him after.
Yeah, sort of a German Cro-Magnon kind of guy. Yeah.
Hmm.
And Duncan's father plays Bob in the reading of Silver
And
Alert.
he's actually similar to my grandfather, but a little lighter touch. We're talking
Hmm.
like he's not quite a baby boomer. He's a little more the quiet generation, but he's like a little lighter touch than my grandfather. But he's
Hmm.
very similar too. He loses his patience, and he is very New York and that kind of thing. So, which is interesting because Ted was also based
Yeah, he was kind
on
of.
the same guy who's been dead since like 1998.
Been wanting to tell that
Well, he
story.
seems like he was enough of a character to live on through fictional characters
Totally.
you've created based
Yeah,
on him. So,
for sure.
yeah.
He was the
So,
first of us to move to Florida.
ah.
And yeah, but he was, yeah, anyway.
Hmm. So, speaking about Silver Alert, can you just tell us a little bit about what it's the premise of it, and a little bit more about what led you to write it?
Well, it's about an old guy that goes AWOL. So he's in a living, an assisted living facility, a senior home kind of a place, and he just gets sick of everything and decides to take off, and he does. And his family then has to sort of pick up the pieces. They're scrambling to find him, and he leads them on a cross country chase. And it really does go from Florida through the middle of the country, and then we end up in California. And so, and along the way, Bob learns some things about himself, and he changes a bit and tries some new things, and it's funny. And I think we are both like making fun of sort of the situation that old people find themselves in a little bit, being trapped, but we're giving them license to be free in this. I think we kind of have decided this sort of like a fantasy of what they would do if they could. They might take off and try all these new things, and that's what Bob does.
Both of my, both my mother and my grandmother both had issues taking licenses away from respective grandparents.
Hmm.
And it's sort of that whole thing too of like, if they take your license away and they take your rights away, and you're this macho man, what do you do?
Hmm.
You revolt, and so it was kind of like, wouldn't it be funny if, or would it be interesting if? And that's where we came up with the idea.
Yeah,
It's
well, I think
obviously
it's
fictional.
extremely relatable. Like my grandfather is in an assisted living facility, and like they literally have to like put a special lock on the door because residents will try to escape. Like my grandfather has literally tried to like get out his bedroom window. Um, so um, so I think anyone who has family in like a nursing home living this assisted living facility can completely relate to it. And I think you do a really good job of building just not only Bob's experience like on the inside, right, but also his family's experience, where you're navigating like who's the one in charge, who's the one talking with the facility, who's the one communicating big things to, you know, the elderly person, that's there. Like, I think you do a really good job seeing both sides of things. And it seems like there's like a personal touch because it feels very real, in terms of what they're all
Yeah,
experiencing. Yeah.
that part, the family members, is not directly related to what we've experienced. I think Duncan and I have been very hands-on. I've had a lot of stuff to deal with my family, and we haven't been like the people in Silver Alert who don't want to deal with any of it. But I'm sure there's lots of people like that out there because it is a lot, and it's like you don't know what to do, and you might live in different states, and it's complicated and it's messy and it takes up a lot of time. And so, yeah, it probably does hit home for a lot of people in that respect.
Mhm. Yeah. And but it's funny. It's funny, but also heartwarming. And it's like it has like a dose of like reality, and like it hits you as you're having this like wonderful sugar, the medicine that goes down, in a way. Now, let's talk about Next Step Screenplay series. So for those of you that might be watching, who haven't seen a Next Step Screenplay series, this has been an ongoing staged reading that All the Line does. We originally started at Banks cafe in downtown Orlando. We did that for 2 seasons, which was 2 full years of staging shows there. And so it's a mix between a staged reading, a theater show. It's, actors are rehearsed, but they still have the book in hand. We have some sound effects, some music. And this year we switched to Aloma Cinema Grill. So this is the first show that we're staging there. So it's a little higher production value. We're going to have it's going to be more theater setting. And we're very excited for that. 2 performances. So yeah, so what are you most excited about seeing the show performed as part of Next Step for you
Well,
guys?
we're excited to see it on its feet again. We did do it 3 years ago.
It was on Zoom though. We didn't have a live
It
audience.
wasn't a live audience,
So
so very
having live
different.
audience is going to be really exciting.
Mhm. And also, yes, see it on its feet, see the reactions, and hopefully find some people who are interested in it and producing it with us.
Mhm.
Um, you know, looking for partners always, because I think this is a very makeable movie. Probably going to do 3 budgets, like an essential, middle ground and an ultimate budget where, where we get everything we want.
Like a
Um,
plane, like a real plane.
And a hot air balloon.
yeah, like a
And a
real
hot air balloon.
plane
Yeah,
and a real
spoiler
hot
alert.
air balloon ride.
Yeah.
And
And
a lot of insurance.
a lot of insurance. Insurance is going to be out the wazoo on this thing. But and yeah, Winnebago probably to move everything around and to tow one. See, I'm still going to do it on a budget. One Chrysler Grand Marquis. It just and when it's the thugs, it's you change the license plate and
Yeah.
but yeah, and locations. That's the tricky part, I think, is we've done some research, but
All the company moves, all this stuff.
but getting back to the first
Sure.
step.
It's so wonderful that you do this for filmmakers, that you host these events to have people, have a chance to open up their work and get feedback from people. That's really just so important and so essential, is to get that feedback from people and from the other actors, what works, what doesn't work, how is this flowing for you? Does this all make sense? Or, and getting different voices in there. We have some of the same actors this time that we had last time, which is amazing. And then we've got some new people, and it's just, it's such a wonderful collaborative thing to do, a stage reading. So we're so excited. And
Yeah.
to be doing it at the Aloma Cinema Grill is going to be really
That sounds real. Yeah, that venue is perfect.
Mhm.
So it'd be good to get like that kind of public feel about it.
Mhm. And there's
Yeah.
food too. So whenever there's food, that's a good thing.
And it's in a cinema.
Exactly. So there's food. You can sit down in your little cinema seat. It's very comfortable. And yeah. So and you guys, and there'll be 2 performances, which is new for Next Step this year.
Yeah.
We've just had 1 performance, so now we have 2. So you get different audience feedback, for different audiences each night, and then it also gives the cast, I think, opportunities to maybe play more with the roles. So it feels like I speaking from actor experience, like the first time you're like staging it, and then the second time you're like, oh, okay, we did it. Now we can also have fun. So that gives you like 2 perspectives in a row for it. And then, also for the audience there, we'll have a Q&A of Courtney and Duncan as well on stage to answer questions after the show. So if you're like, oh, why did you write this? Like, what's like there's burning questions about the story, they'll be there as well. So yeah, very excited to stage this. I think it's very important to tell stories that cover different demographics, and the elderly population normally doesn't get a lot of stories told about them.
They don't. We're a youth worshiping society, and
Yeah.
These aren't the seniors that are in all those like senior living ads with like the perfect teeth and the like, the perfect clothing, and they're just laughing and having cocktails. This is not
and being smug.
Yeah. These are like real seniors with real problems, who are really just kind of like slugging it out in life. And I think that's important too, because that's what most people, end up sort of experiencing. So
Yeah, yeah, we all end up becoming those seniors for the most part in those living assisted facilities trying to break out. You know?
Yeah.
something to look forward to, right?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think too with this story, we also, I think long before we actually wrote it. I mean, I think we sketched it out first, and I think there was a wouldn't it be funny if there was an old people rebellion, where they all like were inspired by the one guy and then everybody took off.
Hmm. Yeah,
Wouldn't that be interesting? Because you never hear about it. That's
Yeah.
never, when has that happened?
no. You only hear about the lone silver alert, but not like the multiples.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like a copycat silver alert. It was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's funny.
Exactly. Well, it's a very fun script. Really excited to stage this. So for those of you that are tuning in, March 9th and 12th at Aloma Cinema Grill, and we're doing a pay what you can. So it's a sliding scale for tickets. Pay whatever you feel is appropriate. And yeah, anything else you want to say that we didn't cover with our chat?
How many characters are in this? 87 or something?
No, there's 87, there's 83 speaking roles.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't paying attention to budgets when we wrote it,
Well,
but there's probably about 100 and some odd characters who are named or mentioned or yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure most people realize we're going to have, a certain number of actors. We have 11 actors playing all of these roles. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you've never been to one of these before, that's what you should expect. And
Oh yeah, that would be insane if we had like 80 something actors just
you know,
like
that's way
it would it
back
would fill the whole it would just be like anyone that's in the theater, come on up and read a part.
right, exactly.
Imagine you have like one line and you're waiting half the script and
Like the motorist.
yeah,
She has like one line.
you're like
Yeah.
up yours.
And then you get a big cheer because like you said it, like maybe that's a future next step. Well, we'll consider that in the future. Just the audience interaction straight ahead. Well,
Kimberly, also you're streaming this too, right?
the
Are we
we're
streaming this as well as
the performance we're gonna film and then we'll play it later. So we're not gonna do
okay?
a live stream, but we will have it filmed for availability later. So yeah.
Okay, because I want to tell I have friends the four corners of the earth, and I want to let them know about.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. For those that are familiar with all, we have been live streaming it. With this change in format, we are going to be filming it. We'll have two different cameras that are going to be filming different angles, and so we'll have a live recording of it. So it's going to be a higher quality than our live stream. So yeah, and then we'll have that, and we can put that online and or just have that for private viewing as well. So.
Great. Awesome.
Well, great. Well, thank you both for joining. Really appreciate our chat. I feel like I could have chatted all night with you about this, but we'll leave some for the actual perform. After the reading, more questions and answers for those that are interested. Great. Well, thank you so much. And again, those of you that are tuning in, we hope to see you at Aloma Cinema Grill in just a few weeks, March 9th and 12th. So thank you both. And
Thank
have a good
you.
night.
Thanks so much, Kimberly.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.